The mansion stood like a tomb. Cold, dark, silent. Inside, a man sat alone in his office. Dante Moretti, the most feared man in the city. His hands were stained with blood he couldn't wash away. His heart was frozen from wounds he couldn't heal. At 32, he ruled an empire built on fear. But tonight, fear lived inside him too. Because upstairs in a pink bedroom, his daughter hadn't spoken in 6 months. Little Isabella, 4 years old. After her mother died, the girl locked herself in silence. Doctors came. Specialists tried. Therapists failed. Nothing worked. The child who once laughed like music now sat by the window like a ghost. Dante hired 20 nannies. They all quit within days. Some said the house was cursed. Others whispered the girl was possessed. But Dante knew the truth. His daughter was drowning in grief, and he didn't know how to save her. Tonight, Dante stared at the glass of whiskey in his hand. His reflection looked back. Cold eyes, sharp jaw, a face carved from stone. He'd killed men with his bare hands. But he couldn't reach his own child. The door opened. His right-hand man, Marco, stepped inside. "Boss, the new maid is here." Dante didn't look up. "Send her away. She's already upstairs." Dante's eyes snapped to Marco. "I didn't approve anyone. Your mother hired her, said we needed someone different." Dante's jaw clenched. His mother, the only person alive who still dared to defy him. He stood, his tall frame towering in the dim light. If she quits like the others, she doesn't get paid. Marco nodded and left. Dante walked to the window. Outside, rain hammered against the glass. Thunder rolled across the sky. Inside his chest, something darker stirred. He didn't believe in hope anymore. Hope was for the weak. Hope got people killed. But somewhere deep inside, a small voice whispered, "What if this time is different?" Upstairs, in Isabella's bedroom, a young woman knelt on the floor. Her name was Elena Russo, 23 years old. Soft brown eyes, long dark hair pulled into a simple braid. She wore a plain black dress and white apron, a maid's uniform. But she didn't look like any maid who'd walked through these doors before. There was something gentle in her eyes, something warm in her smile, something broken too. Like she understood pain because she'd lived it. Isabella sat on the edge of her bed, clutching a stuffed rabbit. Her small face was pale, her eyes empty. She didn't look at Elena. She didn't look at anyone anymore. Elena didn't speak at first. She just sat there, quiet, patient. Then slowly she began to hum. A soft melody, a lullaby her own mother used to sing. Isabella's fingers twitched. Elena noticed. She kept humming, then added words. Gentle, sweet, like a whisper of warmth in a frozen room. Isabella's head turned, just slightly. Elena's heart skipped. She moved closer, careful, slow. Then she leaned in and whispered something so soft, only the little girl could hear. "You don't have to be strong all the time, Piccola. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to cry. And it's okay to let someone love you again." For the first time in 6 months, Isabella's eyes filled with tears. One rolled down her cheek, then another. Elena gently pulled the child into her arms. And Isabella, silent, broken Isabella, buried her face in Elena's shoulder and sobbed. Downstairs, Dante stood at the bottom of the staircase. He heard it. The sound of crying, his daughter crying. His heart stopped. He took the stairs 3 at a time, burst through the bedroom door, and froze. There, in the middle of the room, the new maid held his daughter. Isabella clung to her like a lifeline, and the girl was crying. Actually crying. Dante's breath caught in his throat. The maid looked up. Their eyes met. Hers were soft, brown, full of something he hadn't seen in years. Compassion. For a moment, the world stood still. Then Elena spoke, her voice barely a whisper. "She just needs love." Dante's chest tightened. Something inside him cracked. He stepped closer, his voice rough. "Who are you?" Elena stood slowly, still holding Isabella. "My name is Elena. Your mother hired me. I didn't ask for your name." His eyes darkened. "I asked who you are." She met his gaze without fear. "I'm someone who knows what it's like to lose everything." Silence, heavy, charged. Isabella sniffled and looked up at her father. For the first time in months, she reached out her small hand, toward him. Dante's heart shattered and healed in the same breath. He knelt down and took his daughter's hand. Isabella whispered something. One word, so soft he almost missed it. Papa. Dante's eyes burned. He pulled his daughter close, his arms shaking. Over Isabella's head, his eyes found Elena's again. And in that moment, Dante Moretti knew one thing for certain. This woman had just walked into his life, and everything was about to change. Will Elena stay in the dangerous world of Dante Moretti, or will the darkness consume them both? Morning light crept through the heavy curtains of the Moretti mansion. But inside, darkness still lingered. Elena woke in a small room on the 3rd floor. Plain walls, a narrow bed, a single window overlooking the garden. It wasn't much, but it was more than she'd had in months. She dressed quickly. Black dress, white apron, hair pulled back. In the mirror, she barely recognized herself. 6 months ago, she'd been a university student. Art major, dreams of becoming a painter. Then her father's gambling debts caught up with him. The loan sharks came. Her father disappeared. Her mother died of a broken heart. And Elena was left with nothing. No home, no family, no future. Just debt and danger. She'd been running ever since. Working odd jobs, hiding, surviving. When Dante's mother offered her this position, Elena knew it was risky. Working for the Moretti family meant entering the underworld. But she was desperate. And something about the old woman's eyes told her to trust. Now, as Elena walked down the grand staircase, she wondered if she'd made a terrible mistake. The dining room was vast. A long table, crystal chandeliers, marble floors. At the head of the table sat Dante. He wore a black suit, crisp white shirt, no tie. His dark hair was perfectly styled, his jaw sharp enough to cut glass. He looked like power incarnate. Isabella sat beside him in a pink dress, quietly eating pancakes. When Elena entered, the little girl's face lit up. "Elena!" The sound of Isabella's voice made everyone freeze. Dante's coffee cup paused halfway to his lips. Marco, standing by the door, stared in shock. Even the cook peeked out from the kitchen. Elena smiled and walked over. "Good morning, Piccola." Isabella giggled. Actually giggled. Dante set down his cup slowly, his dark eyes fixed on Elena. "Sit," he commanded. It wasn't a request. Elena hesitated, then took a seat across from him. The air between them felt electric, dangerous. Dante leaned back in his chair. "You got my daughter to speak." "She was ready," Elena said softly. 20 professionals said she wasn't. Maybe they weren't listening. His eyes narrowed. "You think you're special?" Elena met his gaze. "No, I think she is." Silence. Then, the corner of Dante's mouth almost curved, but it was gone before Elena could be sure. "You'll stay," he said. "Take care of Isabella. Follow the rules. Don't go where you're not allowed." "And if I don't follow the rules?" His smile turned cold. "Then you'll learn why people fear the name Moretti." A chill ran down Elena's spine. But she didn't look away. "Understood." Dante stood. His presence filled the room. "Good. Marco will show you around." He walked past her, so close she could smell his cologne. Expensive, dark, intoxicating. At the door, he paused. "One more thing, Elena." She looked up. His eyes burned into hers. "Stay away from my business, and stay away from me." Then he was gone. Marco gave Elena a tour of the mansion. 30 rooms, 10 bathrooms, a library, a gym, an indoor pool, and places she wasn't allowed. "The East Wing is off limits," Marco said. "That's where the boss conducts business." Elena noticed the way he said the word. Business. She knew what that meant. "Violence, deals, blood. And the basement?" she asked. Marco's expression darkened. "Never go to the basement." "Why?" "Because if you do, you won't come back up." Elena's stomach twisted. She was living in a house of monsters, and she just agreed to stay. That afternoon, Elena sat with Isabella in the garden. They painted with watercolors. Isabella laughed as she splashed color across paper. For a moment, Elena forgot where she was. Forgot the danger. Then she felt it. Someone watching. She looked up. In a second-floor window, Dante stood. His eyes locked on her. Intense, burning, unreadable. Elena's breath caught. Even from a distance, she felt the pull. The danger. The attraction she didn't want to feel. Then a woman's voice cut through the moment. Well, who do we have here?" Elena turned. A stunning woman approached. Tall, blonde, expensive dress, red lips. She looked like she owned the world. "You must be the new nanny," the woman purred. "Maid," Elena corrected. "Same thing." The woman's smile didn't reach her eyes. I'm Valentina, Dante's fiancée. Elena's heart sank. Fiancée. Of course, men like Dante Moretti didn't stay single. Valentina crouched down to Isabella's level. Hello, darling. Isabella shrank back. Valentina's smile tightened. Still the little brat, I see. Elena stepped between them. She's not a brat. Valentina stood, her eyes flashing. Excuse me. You heard me. The two women stared at each other. Then Valentina laughed, cold and sharp. You've got fire, I like that. But let me give you some advice, sweetheart. She leaned in close. Dante is mine. This house is mine. And if you get in my way... Her voice dropped to a whisper. You'll disappear. Just like all the others. Elena's blood ran cold. Valentina straightened and walked away, her heels clicking on the stone path. Isabella tugged on Elena's hand. I don't like her. Elena squeezed the little girl's hand. Me neither, Piccola, me neither. That night, Elena couldn't sleep. She stood by her window, looking out at the dark garden. Valentina's words echoed in her mind. You'll disappear. Was it a threat? Or a warning? Either way, Elena knew one thing. She was in deeper than she'd ever imagined. And there was no way out. A knock on her door made her jump. Come in, she whispered. The door opened. Marco stepped inside, his face grim. The boss wants to see you. Elena's heart raced. Now? It's midnight. Now. She followed Marco through dark hallways, down staircases, toward the east, forbidden wing. They stopped outside a heavy wooden door. Marco knocked twice. Enter, came Dante's voice. Marco opened the door and gestured for Elena to go inside. Then he left her. Alone, Elena stepped into the room. It was an office. Dark wood, leather chairs, a massive desk. And behind it, Dante. He poured 2 glasses of whiskey. Sit. Elena sat. He slid a glass toward her. You met Valentina today. It wasn't a question. Yes. What did she say to you? Elena hesitated. She said to stay away from you. Dante's jaw tightened. And will you? Elena looked up. Their eyes met. The air between them crackled. I'll do my job, she said carefully. Nothing more. Dante leaned forward. Good, because I don't trust easily, Elena, and I don't forgive betrayal. I'm not here to betray you. Then why are you here? She swallowed. Because I need this job. And your daughter needs me. He studied her for a long moment. Then he stood and walked around the desk. Stopped right in front of her. So close she could feel his heat. You're hiding something, he said softly. Her heart hammered. Everyone has secrets. True. His hand reached out. Gently, he tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. Elena's breath hitched. His touch was fire. But your secrets, he whispered, might get you killed. Then he stepped back. Go to bed, Elena, and remember my warning. She stood on shaky legs and walked to the door. Before she left, she looked back. Dante stood by the window, a king in his dark kingdom, and Elena realized something terrifying. She wasn't just afraid of him. She was drawn to him. 3 days passed. Elena fell into a rhythm. Mornings with Isabella, afternoons in the garden, evenings reading bedtime stories. The little girl bloomed like a flower after rain. She talked. She laughed. She painted pictures of sunshine. But beneath the surface, danger simmered. Elena felt it every time Dante looked at her. Every time their hands accidentally touched. Every time she caught him watching her from across the room. There was something between them. Something neither of them wanted. Something neither could deny. It was Friday night when everything changed. Elena had just put Isabella to bed when Marco appeared at her door. His face was grave. The boss needs you downstairs. Now. Elena's stomach dropped. What's wrong? Just come. She followed him through the mansion. But this time, they didn't go to Dante's office. They went to the basement. The forbidden basement. Elena's heart pounded. Marco opened a heavy metal door. Inside. Elena descended stone steps into darkness. The air grew cold. At the bottom, a long hallway stretched before her. Dim lights, concrete walls, and at the end, another door. Marco knocked. Enter, came Dante's voice. But it sounded different. Colder, harder. Elena stepped inside. And froze. The room was large. Empty, except for a single chair in the center. And tied to that chair was a man. Bloodied, beaten. barely conscious. Dante stood beside him, rolling up his sleeves. His knuckles were split. His eyes were ice. This wasn't the father she'd seen with Isabella. This was the monster everyone feared. "Come here," Dante commanded. Elena's legs wouldn't move. "Now, Elena." She forced herself forward. Dante gestured to the man in the chair. "Do you know who this is?" Elena shook her head. "Look closer." She stepped nearer, and her blood turned to ice. The man's face was swollen, but she recognized him. "Uncle Carmine," she whispered. Dante's expression didn't change. "So you do know him." Elena's mind raced. Carmine wasn't really her uncle. He was her father's best friend. The man who'd introduced her father to gambling. The man who'd brought ruin to her family. I haven't seen him in months." "Interesting." Dante circled the chair like a predator. "Because he's been looking for you." Elena's heart stopped. "Why?" Dante stopped in front of her. His eyes bored into hers. "Because you owe him money." "No." Elena shook her head. "My father owed him, not me." "Your father's dead." The words hit like a punch. "What?" Dante's expression softened for just a moment. "I'm sorry, but he's gone. Which means his debts fall to you." Elena's legs gave out. She sank to the floor. Her father, dead. She'd known, deep down. But hearing it made it real. Dante knelt beside her. "How much?" she whispered. 200,000. Elena's world shattered. $200,000. She'd never see that kind of money in her entire life. "I can't pay that." "I know." She looked up at him through tears. "Then what do you want from me?" Dante stood and offered his hand. She took it. He pulled her up, keeping her hand in his. "Carmine came here tonight to collect. He thought he could use my household to find you." "So you're going to give me to him?" Dante's grip tightened. "No." Hope flickered in her chest. "I'm going to make you an offer." "What kind of offer?" He stepped closer. So close she could see the flecks of gold in his dark eyes. "I'll pay your debt, all of it." Elena's breath caught. "Why would you do that?" "Because I can. And because..." He paused. "You're good for Isabella." "And what do I have to give you in return?" Dante's thumb traced circles on the back of her hand. "You stay. As long as I need you. No running, no questions. Complete loyalty." Elena's mind spun. It was a cage disguised as salvation. But what choice did she have? "And if I refuse?" Dante released her hand and stepped back. "Then I let Carmine take you. And trust me, Elena." His eyes turned dark. "What he'll do to you is far worse than anything I would." Behind them, Carmine groaned. Elena looked at the broken man, then back at Dante. The devil she knew, or the devil she didn't. She took a breath. "I accept." Dante nodded to Marco. "Get him out of here. Make sure he understands the debt is paid. And if he comes near Elena again..." "He won't, boss." Marco dragged Carmine away. The door closed, leaving Elena and Dante alone. Silence filled the room. Then Dante spoke, his voice softer. "You should have told me." "Would it have mattered?" "Yes." Elena looked up, surprised. Dante ran a hand through his hair. For the first time, he looked almost human. "I don't like being lied to, but I understand why you ran. I wasn't running from you. I was running from everything. And now?" Elena met his eyes. "Now I'm here, trapped in a beautiful cage with a man I don't understand." Dante moved closer. "You're not trapped, Elena. You're protected." "What's the difference?" He reached out and cupped her face. His touch was gentle, unexpected. "The difference is," he whispered, "I would never hurt you." Her heart hammered against her ribs. His thumb brushed her cheek. "But others would. Valentina, Carmine, my enemies. They'd all use you to get to me." "So what does that make me, a weakness?" Dante's eyes burned. "No, it makes you dangerous." Before Elena could respond, he stepped back. The moment shattered. "Go to bed," he said, his walls back up. "We'll discuss the details tomorrow." Elena nodded and walked to the door. But before she left, she turned. "Dante?" He looked at her. "Thank you for saving me." Something flickered across his face. "Too fast to name." "Don't thank me yet, Elena. You don't know what you've just agreed to." That night, Elena lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Her father was dead. Her debt was paid. But the price was her freedom. She belonged to Dante Moretti now, in every way that mattered. And the scariest part? A small, reckless part of her didn't mind. Down the hall, Dante stood in his bedroom. He poured a drink and stared out at the city lights. He'd done terrible things tonight. Broken a man, threatened violence. But when Elena looked at him with those soft brown eyes, he wanted to be better. He wanted to protect her. To keep her. No. Dante slammed the glass down. He couldn't afford feelings. Feelings made you weak, and weakness got you killed. But as he climbed into bed, one thought haunted him. Elena Russo wasn't just his employee anymore. She was his responsibility. His secret. His obsession. And God help anyone who tried to take her from him. Saturday morning arrived with storm clouds. Elena woke to the sound of rain against her window. She dressed quickly and went to Isabella's room. But the little girl wasn't there. Her bed was made, her toys untouched. Panic fluttered in Elena's chest. She rushed downstairs. Voices echoed from the dining room. Elena entered and stopped cold. Isabella sat at the table eating breakfast. Beside her sat Valentina, and at the head of the table, Dante watched with unreadable eyes. "Good morning, Elena," Valentina purred. "We were just talking about you." Elena's stomach tightened. Isabella should have waited for me. "Oh, please." Valentina waved a dismissive hand. "I'm perfectly capable of feeding a child." Isabella pushed her plate away. "I want Elena." Valentina's smile turned sharp. "Darling, I'll be your mother soon. You need to get used to me." "You're not my mama," Isabella said quietly. Tension crackled through the room. Valentina's face flushed. "Dante, are you going to let her speak to me like that?" Dante set down his coffee. His eyes moved to his daughter, then to Elena, then to Valentina. "Isabella," he said calmly, "apologize." The little girl's lip trembled. Elena's heart broke. "Say you're sorry," Dante repeated. Tears filled Isabella's eyes. "But Now," Isabella whispered, "sorry." Then she slid from her chair and ran. Straight into Elena's arms. Elena knelt and held her tight. "It's okay, Piccola, it's okay." Over Isabella's head, Elena's eyes met Dante's. Something flickered there. Guilt? Regret? She couldn't tell. Valentina stood. "Well, this has been lovely. Dante, darling, shall we discuss the wedding plans?" "Later," he said, his voice cold. Valentina's expression tightened, but she forced a smile. "Of course. I'll be in town shopping. Call me when you're ready to act like my fiancé." She swept from the room in a cloud of expensive perfume. Silence filled the space she left behind. Elena stood, still holding Isabella. Dante's jaw was clenched. "Take her upstairs," he said quietly. "Dante..." "Just go, Elena." She wanted to argue, to tell him he'd hurt his daughter. But the dangerous look in his eyes stopped her. So she took Isabella and left. In the playroom, Elena distracted Isabella with paints and stories. But the little girl was quiet, withdrawn. Finally, she whispered, "Does Papa love Valentina more than me?" Elena's heart shattered. She pulled Isabella into her lap. "No, sweetheart. He loves you more than anything." "Then why does he want her?" "I don't know." It was the truth. Elena didn't understand Dante Moretti. One moment, he was gentle with his daughter. The next, cold and ruthless. And with Elena, she didn't know what she was to him. An employee, a possession, a secret, or something more dangerous. That afternoon, Elena took Isabella to the library. They read fairy tales about princes and princesses, happy endings that felt impossible in this dark house. Elena was turning a page when she felt it again. That electric awareness. She looked up. Dante stood in the doorway. He'd changed into a black shirt, sleeves rolled up. His hair was slightly messy. He looked like sin incarnate. "Can I talk to you?" he asked. His voice was different, softer. Elena kissed Isabella's head. "Keep reading, Piccola. I'll be right back." She followed Dante into the hallway. He led her to a balcony overlooking the garden. Rain fell in sheets. Thunder rumbled in the distance. Dante leaned against the railing. "I was too hard on her this morning." Elena blinked. Was he apologizing? "Yes, you were." He turned to her. "I don't know how to do this." "Do what?" "Be a father. Be soft." He ran a hand through his hair. "I was raised by a man who showed love through strength, discipline, control." Elena stepped closer. "Isabella doesn't need control. She needs to know you love her." I do love her. Then show her. Tell her. Don't let Valentina come between you. Dante's eyes darkened. Valentina is… what, your fiancé? It's complicated. Elena laughed bitterly. Everything with you is complicated. You think I don't know that? His voice rose. You think I want this life? This darkness? Then change it. I can't. He grabbed her arms. I'm in too deep, Elena. The things I've done, the people I've hurt. His grip loosened. I'm not a good man. Elena looked up at him. Rain dripped from the balcony roof. Thunder cracked overhead. Maybe you're not, she whispered, but you could be. Their faces were inches apart. His eyes dropped to her lips. Her breath caught. The air between them hummed with tension. Forbidden, dangerous, inevitable. Dante's hand moved to her face. His thumb traced her lower lip. You make me want things I shouldn't want, he whispered. Elena's heart hammered. Like what? Like a different life, a better man, a chance at… A door slammed. They jumped apart. Valentina stood in the hallway, her eyes blazing. How sweet, she said, venom dripping from every word. The boss and the maid. Dante's expression turned to stone. Valentina. Don't Valentina me. She stalked closer. I knew there was something going on. Nothing is going on, Dante said coldly. Really? Valentina's laugh was cruel. Because from where I'm standing it looks like you were about to kiss the help. Elena's face burned. Dante stepped forward, his voice deadly. Watch your mouth. Or what? You'll defend her? Valentina's eyes narrowed. You're pathetic, Dante. Falling for some nobody with a pretty face. That's enough. No, it's not. Valentina turned to Elena. You think you're special? You're just another plaything. He'll get bored and throw you away like all the others. Elena lifted her chin. I'm not a plaything. Aren't you? He owns you, paid your debts, you're his property. The words stung because they were true. Dante moved between them. Leave, now. Valentina's face twisted. You're choosing her over me? I'm choosing peace, something you've never given me. Fine. Valentina grabbed her purse. But don't come crawling back when this little fantasy falls apart. She stormed off, heels clicking, door slamming. Silence. Dante exhaled slowly. Then he turned to Elena. Are you all right? She nodded, though her hands shook. She's right, you know, you do own me. Dante's jaw clenched. Is that what you think? Isn't it true? He stepped closer, cupped her face in both hands. Listen to me carefully, Elena. I paid your debt because I wanted to, not to own you, not to control you. His eyes burned into hers. But to protect you. From what? From everything, including yourself. Elena's breath hitched. And Valentina? Dante hesitated. Then quietly. That engagement. It's not what you think. Then what is it? A business arrangement, nothing more. Do you love her? No. The word was firm, final. Relief flooded through Elena, though she tried to hide it. Dante's thumb stroked her cheek. I don't love easily, Elena. I don't trust. I don't feel. His voice dropped to a whisper. But with you. He didn't finish. Didn't need to. Elena understood. She felt it too. This pull. This dangerous, impossible attraction. We can't do this, she whispered. I know. It's too complicated. I know. You're my boss. I work for you. Isabella. I know all of it, Elena. His forehead touched hers. But tell me you don't feel this. She closed her eyes. Tears threatened. I can't. Then we're both in trouble. That night, Elena lay awake. Her mind spun with everything. Dante, Valentina, Isabella. The almost kiss on the balcony. The way he looked at her like she was air and he was drowning. She knew she should run. Should pack her things and disappear before she got hurt. But she couldn't. Not just because of the debt, but because something inside her had awakened. Something that only Dante could touch. And that terrified her more than anything. Sunday arrived in silence. Elena avoided Dante all day. She stayed with Isabella, read stories, played games. But her mind was elsewhere. On the balcony, on his touch, on words left unspoken. She couldn't stop replaying the moment. The way he'd looked at her like she mattered. Like she was more than just a maid in his house. But reality was harsher than fantasy. Dante was a mafia boss, a man soaked in blood and sin, and she was nobody, a girl with nothing. This could never work. That evening, Marco found her in the garden. "The boss wants to see you." Elena's stomach flipped. "Where?" "His office." She followed him through the mansion. Each step felt heavier than the last. When Marco opened the door, Elena stepped inside. Dante sat behind his desk. But he wasn't alone. An older woman stood beside him. Elegant, graying hair pulled into a bun, kind eyes. Dante's mother. "Elena," the woman said warmly. "Come, sit." Elena obeyed, confusion swirling. Dante's mother smiled. "I'm Maria Moretti. We haven't been properly introduced." "It's nice to meet you, ma'am." "Please, call me Maria." She glanced at Dante. "My son tells me you've been wonderful with Isabella." Elena nodded. "She's a special little girl." "She is, and she suffered so much." Maria's expression softened. "But you've brought light back into her eyes. For that, I'm grateful." "I'm just doing my job." "No." Maria shook her head. "You're doing much more than that." Dante cleared his throat. "Mother, please get to the point." Maria gave her son a look that only a mother could. Then she turned back to Elena. "I need to tell you something about Valentina." Elena's heart raced. "That engagement, it's not real, not in the way you think." Dante stood. "Mother." "Sit down, Dante." Maria's voice was steel wrapped in silk. "She deserves to know." He sat, jaw clenched, eyes dark. Maria continued. 5 years ago, Valentina's father saved Dante's life. Took a bullet meant for him. She paused. Before he died, he made Dante promise to take care of Valentina, to marry her. Elena's chest tightened. "A deathbed promise," Maria said quietly. "The most binding kind in our world." "So he's trapped," Elena whispered. "We all are," Maria replied. "But Valentina has changed over the years. She's become difficult, cruel. She doesn't love Dante. She loves his power, his name." Dante's hands were fists on the desk. Maria placed a hand on Elena's. "I'm telling you this because I see the way my son looks at you, and I see the way you look at him." Elena's face flushed. Don't lie to me, child. I've lived too long to be fooled." Maria's smile was sad. "But you should know what you're walking into. Loving a man like Dante. It's dangerous, painful, impossible." "I'm not in love with him," Elena said. But even she heard the lie in her voice. Maria squeezed her hand. "Then be careful, Elena, because in this world, love is the deadliest weapon of all." She stood and kissed Dante's forehead. "Be smart, my son." Then she left. Silence filled the room. Elena stared at her hands. Dante stared at her. Finally he spoke. "Now you know." Elena looked up. "You're really going to marry her?" "I gave my word." "Even though you don't love her?" "Love is a luxury I can't afford." Elena stood, anger rising. "That's a coward's answer." Dante's eyes flashed. "What did you say?" "You heard me." She stepped closer. "You hide behind duty and honor, but really you're just afraid." He stood towering over her. "Afraid of what?" "Of being happy. Of letting someone in. Of being more than just the monster everyone thinks you are." Dante moved around the desk. Slow, predatory. "You think you know me?" "I'm starting to." He stopped inches from her. His breath on her face, his eyes burning. "You don't know anything, Elena. You don't know the things I've done, the people I've killed, the darkness inside me." "Then show me." "Why?" His voice was raw. "So you can run? So you can look at me with fear instead of whatever this is?" Elena's hand moved to his chest. She felt his heart hammering. "I'm not afraid of you, Dante. You should be. But I'm not." Something in him broke. His hand tangled in her hair, pulled her closer. "You're going to ruin me," he whispered. "Or save you." His mouth crashed onto hers. The kiss was fire. Desperate, hungry, inevitable. Elena gasped against his lips. Dante deepened the kiss, his other hand gripping her waist. She melted into him. Every wall crumbling, every fear forgotten. There was only this. Him, her, the storm between them. When they finally broke apart, both were breathing hard. Dante rested his forehead against hers. This changes everything, he whispered. I know. Valentina will destroy you. Let her try. He pulled back, searching her eyes. You really aren't afraid, are you? Elena touched his face. The only thing I'm afraid of is never knowing what this could be. Dante's eyes closed. When they opened again, they held something she'd never seen before. Hope, stay with me tonight, he whispered. Dante, just stay. Here, in this room. We don't have to. He struggled with the words. I just don't want to be alone. Elena's heart broke and healed all at once. This powerful, dangerous man, asking her to stay, not as a possession, but as a person, as someone who mattered. Okay, she whispered. They sat on the leather couch. Not touching, just sitting. Dante poured 2 glasses of wine. They talked. About everything, about nothing. He told her about his childhood. A father who demanded perfection, a world that required cruelty, a heart that learned to freeze before it could break. She told him about her dreams. The art she wanted to create, the normal life she'd wanted, the family she'd lost. Hours passed like minutes. The storm outside raged, but inside there was warmth. Something neither had expected. Connection. Finally, as dawn approached, Elena stood. I should go before anyone sees. Dante caught her hand. Stay in the mansion. Don't leave, not even to run errands. Why? His expression darkened. Because I got word tonight. Carmine isn't the only one looking for you. Your father made enemies. Dangerous ones. Fear flickered through her. How dangerous? Dangerous enough that I'm doubling security. Marco will be with you whenever you leave the house. You're scaring me. Dante stood and cupped her face. Good. Be scared. Be careful. Because I meant what I said, Elena. I will protect you, no matter the cost. Even if it means war? His smile was cold, especially then. Elena returned to her room as the sun rose. She climbed into bed. Her lips still tingled from his kiss. Her heart still raced from his words. Everything had changed. She'd crossed a line she couldn't uncross, fallen for a man she couldn't have. But as she closed her eyes, one truth remained. She didn't regret it. Not for a second. Across the mansion, Dante stood at his bedroom window. He watched the sunrise. For the first time in years, he felt something other than emptiness. He felt alive. But with that feeling came terror. Because Elena had become his weakness, and in his world, weaknesses got you killed. He pulled out his phone and dialed. Marco, I need you to dig up everything on Valentina. Every transaction, every contact, every secret. Boss, if she finds out, she won't. And if she does, his voice turned to ice. I'll deal with it. He hung up. Then he made a decision. He would break his engagement to Valentina. Consequences be damned. He would protect Elena, even if it meant going to war with half the underworld. Because for the first time in his life, Dante Moretti had found something worth fighting for, someone worth dying for, and he would burn the world down before he let anyone take her from him. Monday morning broke with deceptive calm. Elena woke with Dante's kiss still branded on her lips. She dressed quickly and went to Isabella's room. But something felt wrong. The air was too quiet. Too still. Isabella wasn't in her bed. Panic seized Elena's chest. She checked the bathroom, the closet, under the bed. Nothing. Isabella, her voice cracked. She ran into the hallway. Isabella. A maid appeared. Miss Elena, what's wrong? Have you seen Isabella? She went downstairs with Miss Valentina about an hour ago. Elena's blood ran cold. She raced down the stairs, through the foyer, to the dining room. Empty. The kitchen. Empty. Where are they? Elena demanded of the cook. The woman's face paled. They left. Miss Valentina said she was taking the child shopping. No. Elena's hands shook. Valentina had taken Isabella. She ran to Dante's office. Burst through the door without knocking. Dante sat with Marco and 2 other men. All eyes turned to her. Elena, what? She took her, Elena gasped. Valentina took Isabella. Dante was on his feet instantly. What? She said they were going shopping. But Dante, something's wrong. I can feel it. Dante's face turned to stone. He pulled out his phone. Dialed. It rang. And rang. No answer. He tried again. Nothing. His jaw clenched. Marco, track Valentina's phone. Now. Marco typed frantically on his laptop. Boss, her phone is off. Find her car, traffic cameras, credit card transactions. I don't care what you have to do. Find my daughter. The room exploded into action. Elena stood frozen. This was her fault. If she hadn't kissed Dante. If she hadn't gotten involved. Dante grabbed her arms. Look at me. She met his eyes. This isn't your fault, he said firmly. But Valentina is unstable. Jealous. She's been looking for a reason to strike. His hands tightened. I should have seen this coming. We'll find her, Elena whispered. Dante's phone buzzed. A text message. From an unknown number. He opened it, and his face went white. He turned the screen toward Elena. The photo showed Isabella, sitting in a chair, looking scared, and beneath it a message. You want her back? Break off the engagement and you'll never see her again. Marry me this week, or the girl disappears forever. Your choice, Dante. Love or blood. Elena's knees gave out. Dante caught her. She's insane, Elena breathed. She's desperate. Dante's voice was deadly calm, which makes her dangerous. Marco looked up. Boss, we traced the message. It bounced through 3 servers, but the last ping came from the old warehouse district. How many buildings? 37. Dante's fist slammed on the desk. Then we check every single one. That could take hours, Marco warned. Then we move fast. Dante grabbed his gun from the drawer. Assemble the men, now. Marco ran. Dante turned to Elena. Absolutely not. She's using Isabella to hurt me. To hurt us. I won't hide while that little girl is in danger. Elena, please. Her eyes filled with tears. I need to help. I need to do something. Dante stared at her. Then slowly he nodded. Stay close to me. Do exactly as I say. Understood? Yes. He pulled her close. Kissed her hard. If anything happens to you. It won't. Promise me. Elena cupped his face. I promise. 20 minutes later, 5 black SUVs tore through the city. Dante sat in the lead vehicle. Elena beside him. Marco in the front. Armed men in every car. First location is 3 minutes out, Marco reported. Dante's jaw was granite. Radio silence until we have visual confirmation. I don't want to spook her. They pulled up to an abandoned factory. Broken windows, rusted metal. Team 1, sweep the building, Dante commanded. 6 men disappeared inside. 2 minutes later, they emerged. Clear, boss. No one's been here in months. Dante cursed. Next location. They moved through the warehouse district like a deadly army. Building after building, each one empty. Elena's hope faded with each stop. She could be anywhere, she whispered. Dante's hand found hers. We'll find her. But his voice held doubt. On the 8th building, they finally got lucky. Boss, Marco said. Fresh tire tracks. Someone was here within the hour. Dante's eyes narrowed. Positions. The men surrounded the building. Silent, efficient, deadly. Dante turned to Elena. Stay in the car. But, please. His eyes begged. I can't focus if I'm worried about you. Elena nodded reluctantly. Dante kissed her forehead. Then he was gone. Elena watched through the tinted windows. The men moved like shadows. Entered the building. Silence. Then, gunfire, sharp, loud, terrifying. Elena's heart stopped. More shots, shouting. A woman's scream. Then, silence. Elena's hands were fists. Every second felt like an hour. Finally, the door opened. Dante emerged. Carrying Isabella, Elena jumped from the car. Ran to them. Oh God, is she... She's okay, Dante said. Scared, but okay. Isabella reached for Elena. Elena! She took the little girl. Held her tight. Isabella sobbed into her shoulder. It's okay, Piccola. You're safe now. You're safe. Dante's eyes were ice. Valentina? Marco appeared in the doorway, dragging Valentina by the arm. Her designer dress was torn. Her makeup smeared. She looked like a broken doll. Let me go! She shrieked. Dante walked toward her. Slow, controlled, but Elena saw the rage in every step. You took my daughter, he said quietly. You took my life, Valentina spat. You were supposed to marry me, love me, but you threw it all away for her. She glared at Elena with pure hatred. I never loved you, Dante said coldly. Because of her, Valentina lunged forward. Marco held her back. You ruined everything, Valentina screamed. I gave you years. I waited. I was patient. And you betrayed me for some worthless maid. Dante grabbed Valentina's face, forced her to look at him. You put my daughter in danger. You crossed a line no one comes back from. Valentina's eyes widened. Dante, please. The engagement is over. Your family's alliance is over. And if you ever come near my daughter or Elena again. His voice dropped to a whisper. I will end you. He released her, nodded to Marco. Get her out of my sight. Marco dragged Valentina away. She screamed, cursed, cried, but no one cared. Back at the mansion, Elena gave Isabella a warm bath. The little girl clung to her. I was so scared, Isabella whispered. I know, sweetheart, but you were so brave. Valentina said bad things about you, about Papa. Elena's chest tightened. What did she say? She said Papa doesn't really love us, that he only keeps us because he has to. Elena's heart broke. That's not true, Isabella. Your Papa loves you more than anything in this world. Does he love you too? The question hung in the air. Elena brushed wet hair from Isabella's face. I think maybe he does. Good. Isabella smiled. Because I love you, and I want you to be my new mama. Tears filled Elena's eyes. Oh, Piccola, will you stay forever? Elena hugged her close. I'm not going anywhere. Later that night, after Isabella was asleep, Elena found Dante on the balcony. The same balcony where they'd almost kissed. He held a glass of whiskey, staring at nothing. Hey, Elena said softly. He turned. The moonlight caught his face. He looked exhausted. Haunted. Is she okay? He asked. She will be. She's strong, like her father. A ghost of a smile touched his lips. Elena moved beside him. Dante, what you did today, what I should have done months ago. He set down his glass. I let Valentina get too close. I honored a promise to a dead man instead of protecting my living daughter. You were trying to do the right thing. The right thing almost got Isabella killed. His voice cracked. And you. God, Elena, if something had happened to you. She took his hand. But it didn't. We're both here. We're safe. Dante pulled her close, wrapped his arms around her, held her like she was air and he was drowning. I can't lose you. He whispered into her hair. You won't. Promise me. Elena pulled back, looked into his eyes. I promise. He kissed her. This wasn't hunger. This was something deeper. When they broke apart, Dante rested his forehead against hers. I love you, Elena. The words hung in the air, 3 words that changed everything. Elena's breath caught. Dante, you don't have to say it back. I needed you to know. Elena smiled through tears. I love you too. His eyes closed. Relief, joy, fear, all of it written on his face. You make me want to be better, he whispered. Then be better with me. It won't be easy. My world, it's darkness. Then we'll bring the light. Dante laughed softly. You make it sound simple. Maybe it is. He kissed her again, deeper this time, and for the first time in his life, Dante Moretti believed in something. Not power, not revenge, but love, and redemption, and a future that didn't end in blood. 3 days of peace, strange, fragile peace. Elena woke each morning in Dante's arms. They kept their relationship quiet, for Isabella's sake, for safety's sake, but everyone in the mansion knew. The way Dante looked at Elena, the way she softened his edges. Even Maria smiled knowingly. About time, she'd told Elena over tea. That boy needed someone like you. Isabella bloomed. She had her father back. And Elena, who felt more like a mother every day. They painted together, read stories, laughed in the garden. For 3 days, the Moretti mansion almost felt like a home. But darkness was coming. Wednesday night, Dante's phone rang during dinner. He glanced at the screen and frowned. I need to take this. He kissed Elena's head and left the room. Elena helped Isabella with her pasta, but something felt wrong. A chill in the air, a weight in her chest. 10 minutes later, Dante returned. His face was stone. Elena, my office, now. Her stomach dropped. She followed him. Marco was already there, along with 2 men she didn't recognize. Dante closed the door. Sit. Elena sat. Dante poured himself a drink, downed it in one gulp. We have a problem. What kind of problem? Marco answered. The kind that gets people killed. Elena's blood ran cold. Dante turned to her. Do you remember Carmine? The man you owed money to? Yes. He had a brother, Victor. The name meant nothing to Elena, but clearly it meant something to Dante. Victor runs a rival family, Russian Mafia. He's been trying to move into my territory for years. What does that have to do with me? Dante's expression darkened. Carmine told him about you, about your father's debts, about... He paused. About us. Elena's heart pounded. How much does he know? One of the other men spoke. Word is he's planning a hit, soon. Elena's hands trembled. A hit? On who? Dante knelt in front of her. Took her hands. On you, Elena. To hurt me, to start a war. The room spun. I won't let that happen, Dante said firmly. But we need to move you. Somewhere safe. What about Isabella? She stays here. Extra security. Marco will guard her personally. And you? Dante's jaw clenched. I'm going to end this. Before it begins. Elena grabbed his arms. No, you can't just... Dante, please. There has to be another way. There isn't. His eyes were cold, hard. Victor made this personal. And in my world, that means blood. Then let me talk to him, No. Dante stood. You're not going anywhere near him. But this isn't up for discussion, Elena. Anger flared in her chest. Stop treating me like a child. I'm treating you like someone I love. His voice rose. Someone I will protect, even if you hate me for it. Tears burned her eyes, but she saw the fear beneath his anger. The terror of losing her. She stood and cupped his face. I don't hate you, but I'm not running away while you fight my battles. This isn't your battle. Yes, it is. He's after me because of me. Because of your father's mistakes. Which makes it my responsibility. Dante closed his eyes. Elena, I'm staying, and we're ending this together. If something happens to you, it won't. She pressed her forehead to his. We're stronger together, remember? For a long moment, he said nothing. Then finally, you're going to be the death of me, or the life of you. That night, Dante gathered his men. 20 soldiers, armed, loyal, ready to die for their boss. Victor wants a war, Dante said, his voice carrying through the room. So we'll give him one, but on our terms, our ground. Marco stepped forward. Intelligence says he's meeting with his lieutenants tomorrow night. Warehouse on the docks. Minimal security. It's a trap, one of the men said. Probably, Dante agreed, which is why we'll be ready. He laid out the plan. Strategic, precise, brutal. Elena watched from the doorway. This was Dante's world. Violence, strategy, control. But beneath it, she saw the man she loved, fighting to protect what mattered. The next night arrived too quickly. Dante dressed in all black, gun holstered, knife strapped to his ankle. He looked like death incarnate. Elena helped him with his bulletproof vest. Her hands shook. Come back to me, she whispered. Dante tilted her chin up. Always. He kissed her. Deep. Desperate. Like it might be the last time. If anything goes wrong... Don't, Elena cut him off. Don't say goodbye. Just come back. He nodded. Kissed her again. Then he was gone. Elena sat with Isabella until the girl fell asleep. Then she paced her room. Every minute felt like an hour. She prayed to a god she wasn't sure existed. Please, please bring him home. At midnight, her phone buzzed. A text from Marco. It's done. Coming home. Elena's legs gave out. She sank to the floor, sobbing with relief. 30 minutes later, black SUVs pulled up to the mansion. Elena ran downstairs, burst through the front door. Dante climbed out of the lead vehicle. Blood on his shirt, cut on his cheek. But alive, so beautifully alive. Elena flew into his arms. He caught her, lifted her off the ground, buried his face in her neck. I'm here, he whispered. I'm here. She pulled back, searched his face. Is it over? Dante's eyes were dark. Victor is dead. His operation is finished. And Carmine? Also dead. No emotion in his voice. They won't hurt you again. Ever. Elena should have felt relieved, but all she felt was the weight of it. The lives lost, The violence, the darkness that clung to Dante like a second skin. He saw it in her eyes. "You're afraid of me now," he said quietly. "No." Elena touched his face. "I'm afraid for you. There's a difference. I did what I had to do." "I know." Her voice cracked. "But how much more blood, Dante? How much more death before you can be free?" He had no answer, because he didn't know. That night, Elena lay in Dante's arms. He was clean now, showered, bandaged, but she could still feel the violence radiating from him. "Tell me the truth," she whispered. "Can you ever really leave this life?" Dante was silent for a long time. Then, "I don't know. This world, it doesn't let go easily. But you want to? More than anything." He turned to face her. "For you. For Isabella. I want to be the man you see when you look at me." "Who is that?" "Someone good. Someone worthy of your love." Elena's eyes filled with tears. "You already are, Dante. You just don't see it." He kissed her forehead. "Then help me see it. Show me how to be better." "I will, every day, for as long as you'll let me." "Forever, then." Elena smiled through her tears. "Forever." But in the darkness, danger still lurked. Unknown to them both, because Victor had a brother too, and Alexei was coming, with an army, and vengeance in his heart. 2 weeks passed. The mansion transformed. Laughter echoed through hallways that once held only silence. Isabella thrived. She called Elena Mama now, and Elena's heart soared every time. Dante smiled more, touched more, loved more openly. At night, Elena fell asleep in his arms, safe, cherished, home. She'd even started painting again. A small studio Dante had built for her, canvases filled with color and light, everything her life had never been, until now. But happiness in Dante's world was borrowed time. It was a Tuesday morning when everything shattered. Elena was in the garden with Isabella, painting flowers. The sun was warm, the air sweet with jasmine. Then she heard it. Tires screeching, shouts, gunfire. Elena's heart stopped. She grabbed Isabella. "Run to the house, now!" "But now, Isabella." The little girl ran. Elena followed. But before she reached the door, strong arms grabbed her from behind. She screamed. A hand covered her mouth. "Quiet," a thick Russian accent growled, "or the girl dies." Elena froze. Through the window, she saw Isabella reach Marco. Safe, thank God. The man dragged Elena toward a black van. She fought, kicked, bit. He backhanded her. Stars exploded across her vision. Then she was thrown into the van. The door slammed. Darkness swallowed her whole. When Elena woke, her head throbbed. She was in a chair, hands bound behind her, ankles tied. The room was cold. Concrete walls. One flickering light. And across from her sat a man. Tall, blonde, ice blue eyes. He smiled. But it was the smile of a shark. "Welcome, Miss Russo. I'm Alexei Volkov." Elena's blood ran cold. Victor's brother. "Where am I?" "Somewhere your precious Dante will never find you." He leaned forward. "Unless I want him to." "What do you want?" "Revenge, justice, blood." His smile widened. "You see, your lover killed my brother. And in my culture, we believe in an eye for an eye." Elena's mind raced. "I had nothing to do with that." "No. But you're the reason Dante started this war." Alexei stood, circled her like a predator. "You're his weakness, his soft spot, and I'm going to use that to destroy him." "He'll kill you." "Perhaps. But not before I break him." Alexei grabbed her chin, forced her to look at him. "I'm going to give Dante a choice, his empire, or you." "He'll never—" "He will." Alexei released her. "Because men like us, we understand power. But love?" He laughed. "Love makes us weak, stupid, and Dante loves you." Elena's eyes burned with tears. "So here's what's going to happen," Alexei continued. "I'm going to call your lover, tell him my terms, and he's going to have 24 hours to decide. And if he chooses me, then he signs over his territory, his operations, everything, and he walks away." "He'll never agree to that." Alexei shrugged. "Then you die, and he lives with the guilt forever." Back at the mansion, Dante was a man unhinged. He'd destroyed his office. Broken furniture, shattered glass. Marco stood by the door, blood dripping from a cut on his forehead. "We're searching everywhere, boss. Every contact, every lead." "It's not enough," Dante roared. "They took her, Marco. They took Elena." "We'll find her." "When? After they've tortured her, killed her?" His phone rang. "Unknown number," Dante answered. "Who is this?" "Dante Moretti. We finally speak." That accent, Russian. Dante's blood turned to ice. "Alexei." "You remember me, I'm flattered." "Where is she?" "Safe, for now." "If you hurt her, you'll what? Kill me like you killed my brother?" Alexei's laugh was cold. "Too late for threats, Dante. Now we negotiate." "What do you want?" "Everything. Your territory, your operations, your power." Dante's jaw clenched. "In exchange for?" "The woman you love, her life, her safety." Silence. Dante's mind raced. His empire, everything he'd built, everything his father had built, for one woman. "You have 24 hours, Alexei continued. "After that, I start sending you pieces of her. And Dante?" His voice dropped. "I'll make sure she screams your name." The line went dead. Dante stood frozen. Marco stepped forward. "Boss?" "He wants me to trade my empire for Elena." "That's impossible. If you give up your territory, you'll have nothing. No protection, no power. You'll be vulnerable." "I know. So what do we do?" Dante looked at his right-hand man. This man who'd been with him for years. "We prepare for war." The next 20 hours were chaos. Dante called in every favor, every alliance, every soldier loyal to the Moretti name. But Alexei had covered his tracks. No location, no leads, nothing. Elena had vanished. Dante barely slept. Barely ate. He sat in his office, staring at a photo. Him, Elena, and Isabella. Taken 2 weeks ago. They looked happy, like a real family. And now it was all falling apart. Maria entered quietly. "Dante?" He didn't look up. She sat beside him. "You know what you have to do." "I can't lose her, Mother. And you can't lose everything your family built." "Then what do I choose?" His voice cracked. "Power or love?" Maria took his hand. "That's not the question, my son. The question is, can you live without her?" Dante closed his eyes, and he knew the answer. No, he couldn't. With 4 hours remaining, Dante made his decision. He called a meeting. Every lieutenant, every captain, every man who worked for him. They gathered in the main hall. 40 men, armed loyal. Dante stood before them. "You've all heard what happened. Alexei Volkov has Elena, and he's given me an ultimatum." The room was silent. One of the lieutenants spoke. "Boss, you can't seriously be considering—" "I'm not considering." Dante's voice cut through. "I've already decided." Marco stepped forward. "Dante, think about this." "I have." He met each man's eyes. "For years, I've built this empire. I've sacrificed, killed, bled. All for power." He paused. "But power means nothing if you have no one to share it with." "So you're just going to give it all up?" Another man challenged. "No." Dante's smile was dangerous. "I'm going to take her back, and then I'm going to destroy Alexei Volkov and everyone who stands with him." The room erupted. Questions, concerns, anger. Marco silenced them with a hand. "How?" Dante pulled out a map. "Spread it on the table. Alexei thinks he's won. That I'll either sacrifice everything or let Elena die." He pointed to a location on the map. "But he made one mistake." "What's that?" "He underestimated how far I'm willing to go." Dante explained his plan. Risky, brutal, almost suicidal, but it was their only shot. When he finished, the room was quiet. Then, one by one, the men nodded. "We're with you, boss," Marco said. "All the way to hell," another added. Dante felt something he hadn't felt in years. Brotherhood. "Then we move in 2 hours. Gear up. And gentlemen?" His eyes turned cold. "Leave no one alive." Elena had lost track of time. Hours, days? She didn't know anymore. Alexei had sent her food, water, kept her alive. But the psychological torture was worse than any physical pain. He'd show her videos of Isabella crying, of Dante pacing like a caged animal. "He's breaking," Alexei would say. "Soon he'll give me everything." But Elena knew better. Dante wouldn't surrender. He'd fight, even if it cost him everything. She just prayed he'd get there in time. The clock struck midnight. Dante's deadline. Alexei entered Elena's cell with a phone. "Time to call your lover, tell him goodbye." He dialed, put it on speaker. It rang once. "Alexei." Dante's voice was ice. "Right on time. I assume you have my answer?" "I do." "And?" Silence. Then Dante spoke. "I choose her." Elena's heart broke. "No, Dante, don't—" "Quiet," Alexei snapped. Dante continued. "I'll sign over everything. Territory, operations, money, all of it." Alexei smiled. "Smart man. Meet me at the old church on 5th. Bring the papers. Come alone. And Dante?" His voice hardened. "If I see any of your men, she dies." "Understood." The line went dead. Alexei turned to Elena. "Your hero is coming. How romantic." "You're going to kill him anyway, aren't you?" "Of course. But first he'll watch you die. Then I'll take everything." He leaned close. "And there's nothing he can do about it." The old church loomed against the night sky. Crumbling stone, broken windows, abandoned for decades. Dante arrived alone. Or so it appeared. He wore a suit, carried a briefcase, looked like a man defeated. Inside, Alexei waited with Elena. She was bound to a pillar in the center of the church. Bruised, exhausted, but alive. Her eyes met Dante's. Relief, love, fear. All of it in one look. "The papers," Alexei demanded. Dante opened the briefcase. Inside were documents, transfers of ownership, signatures, everything. Alexei took them, scanned them, smiled. "You actually did it. I told you, I choose her." "How noble." Alexei pulled out a gun. "But you're still going to die." Dante didn't flinch. "I know. Any last words?" Dante looked at Elena. "I love you. Remember that." Tears streamed down her face. "Dante, no." He smiled. "Close your eyes, beautiful. I don't want this to be your last memory of me." Elena squeezed her eyes shut. Sobbing, Alexei raised the gun. "Goodbye, Dante Moretti." Dante's hand moved to his watch, pressed a button, and all hell broke loose. Explosions rocked the church. Windows shattered. Doors burst open. Dante's men flooded in from every direction. Gunfire erupted. Alexei's soldiers scrambled, but they were outmatched, outmaneuvered. Dante dove for Elena, shielded her with his body as bullets flew. "I've got you," he whispered. "I've got you." He cut her ropes, pulled her behind a pillar. "Stay down." Then he was moving, a weapon in each hand. He was death incarnate, precise, ruthless, unstoppable. One by one, Alexei's men fell, until only Alexei remained. He stood in the center of the chaos. Gun drawn, desperate, Dante approached slowly. "You said to come alone," Alexei spat. "I lied." Dante's voice was cold. "You took something that belongs to me. Did you really think I'd play by your rules?" "You gave up everything." "Those papers," Dante smiled. "Forgeries, every one of them." Alexei's face went white. "You see, Alexei, I learned something from loving Elena." Dante stopped 5 feet away. "Sometimes you have to look weak to win. You tricked me. I outsmarted you, there's a difference." Alexei raised his gun. Dante was faster. One shot. Clean, final. Alexei fell. Dead before he hit the ground. Silence descended. Dante turned. Elena stood trembling behind the pillar. He crossed to her in 3 strides, pulled her into his arms. She collapsed against him, sobbing, shaking. "It's over," he whispered into her hair. "It's over. You're safe. You came for me. Always. I'll always come for you." She pulled back, looked at him through tears. "You were willing to give it all up. For you, in a heartbeat. But your empire means nothing without you." He cupped her face. "You're my empire, Elena. You and Isabella. Everything else is just noise." She kissed him. Deep. Desperate. Full of everything words couldn't say. Around them, Dante's men secured the church. Marco approached. "Boss, we got them all. The Volkov operation is finished." Dante nodded, but didn't let Elena go. "Good. Burn this place. I never want to see it again." They drove home as dawn broke. Elena sat tucked against Dante's side, his arm around her, holding her like he'd never let go. "What happens now?" she asked quietly. "Now? We live." He kissed her head. "Really live, not just survive." Can we, in your world? Dante was quiet for a moment. Then I'm leaving it. Elena sat up, stared at him. What? The underworld, the violence, all of it. His eyes were serious. I'm done, Elena. I've built legitimate businesses over the years, legal income. I can transition everything. It'll take time, but... He touched her face. I want a different life. For you, for Isabella, for us. You'd really do that? I'd do anything for you. Tears filled her eyes again, but this time they were happy. I love you, Dante Moretti. And I love you, Elena Russo. He smiled. Soon to be Elena Moretti, if you'll have me. Her breath caught. Is that a proposal? It's a promise. When this is all over, when we're safe, when I'm worthy. He kissed her gently. I'm going to marry you. Make you mine in every way that matters. I'm already yours. Good, because I'm never letting you go. They arrived at the mansion as the sun rose. Isabella was waiting on the front steps with Maria. The moment the car stopped, the little girl ran. Papa, Elena! Elena jumped out, caught her, held her tight. I'm here, Piccola, I'm here. Dante joined them, wrapped his arms around both his girls, his family, his everything. Maria watched from the steps, tears in her wise eyes. Her son had finally found peace. 3 months later, autumn arrived in golden waves. The mansion grounds transformed into a painting. Orange leaves, crisp air, the scent of change. And inside, life had truly begun. Dante kept his promise. He transferred his legitimate businesses into his name. Restaurants, real estate, import companies. Legal, clean, profitable. The underground operations were sold or dissolved. His soldiers were offered jobs and security, or released with generous severations. Some stayed loyal, others moved on. But the Moretti family was leaving the darkness behind. It wasn't easy. There were threats, challenges, people who didn't want to let go. But Dante was firm. This was his line in the sand. And no one crossed Dante Moretti twice. Elena bloomed in ways she'd never imagined. Her art studio became her sanctuary. She painted every day. Commissions came in, small at first, then larger. A gallery in the city wanted to showcase her work. You're talented, the curator had said. Raw emotion in every brushstroke. Elena couldn't stop smiling. For the first time, she was building something that was hers. Not running, not surviving. Living. And loving. Isabella started kindergarten. A private school. Safe. Nurturing. She made friends. Laughed freely. Painted pictures for Elena. Every night, Dante tucked her in. Read stories. Kissed her forehead. I love you, Principessa, he'd whisper. I love you too, Papa, she'd reply. And Elena. And Elena, he'd agree with a smile. The little girl had 2 parents now. A real family. Something neither Dante nor Elena had ever truly had. But beneath the happiness, a shadow lingered. Not external. Internal. Dante struggled with his past. Nightmares plagued him. Faces of men he'd killed. Blood on his hands. The weight of years of violence. Elena would wake to find him on the balcony. Staring into darkness. She'd wrap her arms around him from behind. Talk to me, she'd whisper. I'm trying to be better, he'd say. But some days, I don't know if I can wash away what I've done. You don't have to wash it away. Just learn from it. Grow from it. What if I can't? She'd turn him to face her. Then I'll help you. Every single day. Those moments, more than anything, solidified their bond. They weren't just lovers. They were partners. Healing together. It was a Saturday in November when Dante finally proposed. Properly. He planned everything. A private dinner in the garden. Lights strung through the trees. Candles everywhere. Soft music playing. Isabella helped him set up. Is this when you ask Elena to marry you? The little girl whispered excitedly. Yes, think she'll say yes? Isabella giggled. Of course, Papa, she loves you. I love her too. So much it scares me. Isabella hugged his leg. Don't be scared. Love is good. Dante knelt down, looked at his daughter. This wise, beautiful little soul. You're right, Principessa. Love is good. Elena wore a simple dress. Deep blue, flowing, beautiful. Her hair was down. Soft waves framing her face. She looked like a dream. Dante couldn't breathe. They ate, talked, laughed. Then, as dessert arrived, Dante stood. Elena. She looked up. He came around the table. knelt on one knee. Her hands flew to her mouth. 3 months ago, you walked into my life and changed everything, he began. You brought light to my darkness, love to my emptiness, hope when I thought I had none left. Tears already streamed down her face. You showed me that I could be more than my past, more than my mistakes. You loved me when I didn't deserve it. And you gave my daughter something I couldn't a mother's love. He pulled out a ring. Diamond. Simple, perfect. Elena Russo, I don't deserve you, but I'm selfish enough to ask anyway. His voice shook. Will you marry me? Will you be my wife, my partner, my everything? Elena couldn't speak, could only nod through tears. Is that a yes? Dante asked, smiling. Yes, she finally choked out. Yes, yes, yes. He slipped the ring on her finger. Stood, pulled her into his arms. Kissed her like she was air and he was drowning. From the house, Isabella and Maria watched, cheering, crying, celebrating.